Howdy, 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 everybody. This is Dave. It's Dave's Paranormal Hour coming to you at 7:30 Pacific time tonight. And I'll start off by saying a big hello to all intelligent life forms out there. And everybody else, the secret is bang the rocks together, guys. And okay, we are going to be talking about parallel worlds and parallel lives. And there's a basis in scientific fact about this. That is something a lot of people don't realize. They think it may be some sort of new age mumbo jumbo. Um, Another way to sell books, another way to sell online courses. But no, the first time I encountered parallel universes or the ideas about it is this guy right here. His name is Professor Philip Morrison. I met him in the spring of 1981 at the University of Texas. And what was happening was, is I had an assignment where I had to interview a on the radio, and I picked my astronomy professor, and I go up to his office, talk to him about it, and he tells me that, hey, I've got a friend of mine here, and so I meet this guy, short guy, kind of squirrely looking. He's got red hair, kind of looked like a toad sitting there, and I had no idea that this guy is a professor emeritus at MIT. Not only that, though, he was with the Manhattan Project. Those of you who are not good at history, Manhattan Project was the United States project to build the first atomic bomb. So this guy is definitely a nuclear physicist, and we started talking. We started talking about all sorts of weird stuff, and one of the things he mentioned was the possibility of real parallel universes, and that quantum physics shows this to be possible. So, preparing for tonight's talk, I downloaded some information. First thing that comes to me is from Space News. This is dated October 2015. Now, there may be some people may be familiar with this group in Europe called the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN. And they have this thing called the Large Hadron Collider, which a couple of years ago, 2012, 5 years ago, they discovered something called the Higgs boson. And that is a particle that makes up all the other particles. It was called the God particle. Well, since then, they've fired it back up again. And what they're looking for signs of parallel universes. It has gotten so far into scientific fact that they're looking for what those are. What are parallel universes? Well, the idea is that there are multiple versions of our planet, multiple versions of ourself. It's called the many worlds hypothesis. And here you can see all these various versions of the Earth. Well, there are those who say, and this was backed up by Dr. Morrison, that for every major decision we make, there is another version of ourselves that has made the other decision and has gone on. Now, there are some websites out there that seem to think that every decision we make causes a parallel or another universe up here. I don't think that's the case. I've been doing enough research and enough thinking about it to where I'm thinking it's only the major things, like, getting married at the age of 18 as soon as you're out of high school versus waiting until after college, marrying person A versus person B, having children, not having children, divorcing, moving, whatever, big life decisions. Let's see, is there anybody coming on board yet? Okay, I see one viewer. I'm having to use my little tablet to catch everything. So, has anybody done any seeing if there's anybody out there? Okay, we're getting some viewers. I'm going to take my breath because this is a big intro here. And one of the things about parallel universes is There's some talk about people who can shift between them, and I've been looking at that only because, well, only because I've been like, there's got to be multiple versions of us all. And okay, so the multiple worlds thing. Okay, uh, okay, and I've just started reading about this. In other words, it takes energy to go between them. The Large Hadron Collider is they're calculating energy expected where they can expect these miniature black holes. And if we do detect them at this energy, then we know that this one theory is correct and extra dimensions are correct. Okay, we got two people viewing. Another one talks about the effects of multiple worlds, multiple uh, is paranormal activity and ghosts. Ghosts. That would explain some of the so-called hauntings in which a good one is if you've been to the Gettysburg battlefield. Sometimes under certain conditions you can see men marching around, and this could be the reason. The reason could be that there's a weak spot between parallel worlds, and we're actually looking at something that was happening in 1863. Uh, and then I've looked at some stuff regarding quantum leaping. Now, need to be careful when you go looking for quantum leaping on Google. You get a lot of misinformation. And there's a couple of people who sell courses to help you uh, uh, quantum leap or do a quantum jump. And come on, focus, new camera. Um, and what it is, again, we start. They talk about the way to do this to jump between dimensions is visualization again. Um, I'm big on visualization. I'm big on using altered states. Michelle, you know about altered states. I have a course that just hit. It's in this group and it's in another group where I teach people how to detect and how to go into an altered state, alpha and then theta. Theta, actually, it's the border between alpha and theta. Alpha, theta. You get even lower, in this border space right here is the best place for visualization. Um, I use it a lot. I have a binaural beat track that I use for myself. It sets me at about 7.5 hertz brain waves, and then I start visualizing. The tough part, and you'd be happy to know those of you who have done this, the tough part is maintaining focus. When you are in a theta state, sometimes it's difficult to maintain focus. And after years and years and years of doing this, it still is difficult to maintain focus. It depends on how much energy I have. Um, in fact, the other night I actually fell asleep while listening to a chapter in an audio book. And I went down from alpha into theta, and then I hit delta, and I was gone. And then when the audio book finished that chapter, I woke up. I couldn't get back to sleep. Okay. Who all's with me tonight? Let's just go ahead and. I know Michelle is with me. I wonder who else is here. The reason why I'm going on later is because sometimes it gets a little noisy around here, and it's easier for me to settle down and do a broadcast later in the evening. Uh, and if anybody's interested, I could go on even later at night. Uh, but it seems to me that about middle of the afternoon is kind of tough. A lot of people are just getting home on the East Coast, and there are some people who have to work afternoons. And I'm finding that lately there's been a lot of noise around this apartment complex late in the afternoons. And let's see what else. Hello, namaste, or whatever that is. Um, One of the things too is I'm using a product called Xstream. It's a streaming product, and this allows me to make a copy locally, so it goes on my YouTube channel immediately. Let's see. It's limited. I can't do face-to-face interviews, but hopefully everything sounds good. If there's any issues, technical issues, I'm sure Michelle will uh, uh, speak up. All right. Going on about this, let's think about the idea of parallel worlds and that there's another version of you. There's another 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 versions of each one of us walking around. And that doesn't count the parallel lives that we could be doing from the point of view of all that is, from the point of view of our higher self. Everything is the now. So all of our past lives, lives that were in the past and lives that are in the future, are actually occurring now. So that's why it's so easy using the techniques I teach to tap into past lives, tap into future lives, because they're all happening now. And by going from our uh, existence right here, going up a few steps to higher mind, going up even higher, then we can branch from this life to this life to this life. Um, and it all starts with visualization. Okay, what just happened here? Huh. My my tablet just kicked me out of the group. How nice. There we go. Okay, yeah. Now I'm getting a live feed here of the. Oh well. Uh, if anybody wants to buy a whole bunch of stuff from me, please do so I can afford a better laptop so this will work better. Okay. Um, while I was researching parallel worlds, and after, well, first off, like I said, I first heard about this in 1981. But being a fan of science fiction, I'd known about the idea in fiction with parallel worlds, parallel universes. It's a frequent thing that happens in science fiction, but I had no idea there was a science fact for this. And I kind of forgot about that until about maybe 15 years ago. It came back up again. And the idea then was being able to walk from one universe to the other. And I was practicing on that. And I just have to wonder, my point of focus right now is in this life. And I just have to wonder if, you know, what other versions of me are out there. I know I had a past life that ended in 1944. Then I have this life. I've had a life in the end of the 1700s, middle of the 1800s. And it goes on further back. I'm thinking 2 or 3 life experiences in each century, going back quite a ways. Um, and I haven't explored them all. I will say that I have a audio coming out for past life explorations. It is a method that I've used since the mid 90s to go into past life. It uses a higher self and it uses a portal technique. Now, let's see what else. Where am I? I don't have a script tonight, so I'm winging it all. Okay, so let's continue on. Um, what makes okay, they get the idea of quantum jumping as a way to jump between these parallel worlds by using the term quantum particle. I know in my researches back when I was in college that a quantum particle can jump from spot to spot. We also know that if we create a particle in a particle accelerator, the two particles, are created together. That no matter how far apart they are, if you spin this one this way, this one starts spinning the same way immediately. There's no delay. There's no communication lag. It's called entanglement. And that's entanglement is probably the reason why we all know everything, is that we are entangled at all dimensions everywhere. Uh, and so I'm thinking, well, there's got to be a way to do this. So I've been looking at methods that utilize visualization in a theta state to at least gain access of awareness of other lives that we have, other, where our parallel lives are. I know last weekend I did a remote sensing session where I went into higher self. Those of you who do the higher self workshop, I used my high self workshop to do that. and I projected myself forward to see how a specific project turns out. And I saw some stuff. I just saw brief flash images. I mean, we're talking, microsecond flashes of images. And then I had to stop and think about each image. And then I remembered, okay, I've seen this scene before. Where did I see it? And and apparently in about, well, not quite. Let's see, May, June, July, August. 4 months from now, I'm going to be in a situation where I'm crossing a bridge over a small river. There's a bunch of very bright umbrellas around. I'm with a group of about 10 people, and we're either all going to dinner to celebrate or we're all going to dinner to, it's a party of some type. Um, that's all I'm going to say about it because everything else there is, what else is happening. Let's see here. All right. Ah, kind of running out of steam here. So I'm going to be, okay, let's talk more about quantum jumping. I'm going to read some stuff. Now, I've read the experiments about what particles can do in quantum states, such as tunneling. Particles can tunnel through solid objects. They can make leaps to alternate timelines, alternate places, and these things are happening in quantum physics. I do know, if you maybe look it up if you're so inclined, the double slit experiment with particles. Um, and and I'm one of those odd people. I have a foot in both worlds. I'm both, scientifically minded, yet I understand what's going on metaphysically. I have one foot in the spirit world, one foot in this world. Um, Kind of makes me kind of messed up sometimes. But um, quantum particles exist both as waves until the wave function collapses. So the idea of what we do with magic is you set up the potentiality by visualizing, and you visualize so well and so strongly that you're able to collapse the wave function around reality for that which you visualized, and then it's just step back and let it occur to you, let it come to you in this reality. And let's see. And I haven't tried exchanging information between myself in this reality and myself in another reality. That's probably something I'm going to do probably over the weekend if I can get the quiet time. I will go into a theta state. I will project myself into higher mind, and then I'm going to simply say, okay, show me the version of myself that's in this other reality. Let's say, I had a serious girlfriend in 1983. What would have happened if we had actually gotten married? What would my life have been like? Then we project forward. What would my life have been like if my marriage that I did have in the late 80s, if we had split apart while I still lived in Los Angeles instead of waiting until after the kid was born? Excuse me. My throat's getting a little dry. And let's see. All right, getting a few more here coming in. And so by looking at these other alternatives, I can see whether the other alternatives were any good or not. Now, there has got to be, now when you do magic and you successfully visualize, you are creating, at least momentarily in your subconscious, another reality. And then the thing is just to try to step into it. The Silva Mind courses talk about a way to do this, which involves basically hello. A lot of people are coming in. They talk about creating like a black framed mirror, projecting your current situation, changing the mirror frame to a white, moving it a little bit, and then projecting yourself into a new situation. That's one way of doing it. But everything seems to come down to the same thing, is visualizing. And I know I feel like I'm kind of flogging that dead horse. But visualize is one of the most important aspects of doing magic, of doing anything in altered states. Hold on. Oh. Lemon water. That is some throat lozenges. Last time I lived in Los Angeles, I was in the area. I was in Pasadena, which is more of a desert climate than where I am now, which is next to the ocean. I like the ocean air, but there seems to be more pollen down here than there was out in the desert. Let's see, Janie's with us, a few other people. Okay. I'm monitoring the broadcast using my tablet, so it may be a little difficult to catch you as you post a question, and it's good too. You guys start posting questions. I'll see them. I'll answer them. Let's keep them on topic though. About quantum jumping. Okay, according to this thing I just read, anybody who can relax, clear your mind, and envision it being indifferent in some way, such as more successful, funnier, healthy, wealthy wise, they can make this quantum jump. When making these kinds of quantum jumps, you can feel immediate benefits from such positive thinking. Now, to initiate a quantum jump, keep an open mind that you can experience another reality. Sincerely desire. Actually, it sounds more like more law of attraction BS. I do know in my experiments in the late 90s that shifting dimensions needs a spin, a different shift in our internal atomic structure. And I was experimenting with energy meditation to try to accomplish that. I'm not sure what I did, although I have had some contacts. Is that projecting the same thing? I'm not sure I understand that. Janie, I'm not sure. Um, to me, uh, if you can get into an altered state, project a thought, envision yourself in a new situation, you'll create the circumstances under which that new situation will occur. Um, astral projecting. That's different. That's different. That's going to another dimension. That's not going into a different universe or a different parallel world. Although I believe you could probably use the astral plane to go to a different version of yourself. Uh, it'd be worth experimenting. The thing is, what I like to do is when I experiment, I make notes. Oh, gosh. I have notepads all over the place, and I have lots of scribbles. And so I make notes about everything. So if something works, I know it works. If something doesn't work, I know what I did wrong. And I believe in some uh, other videos, I talk about the need that you have to write things down. Um, my favorite my favorite thing to say to people is, the difference between screwing around and science is that with science you have to write it all down and take notes. But I would, I could try to go into altered state. Now I project myself into the astral state whenever I go into a higher self, because that's where your higher self is. Uh, okay, here's our world, right here. The astral plane is just, well, one plane a little bit higher than that, and our higher self can come down into the astral plane and communicate with us from down here as we go up. Uh, that is one good way to do it. Another good way to do it is with your guide. Okay. I wonder how delayed this thing is. I'm using extreme, and it seems to be working pretty good. It's also I don't know how good it looks on your end. It should be a much better picture than what I was using. See, I hear the roommate's dog barking right now. I don't know what's going on. Okay, what else? Well, okay, like I said, there is a scientific basis. Actually, there's a scientific basis for even doing magic the way we do it. Um, but let's see, what else? What else can happen as a weird clue that there are alternate universes? Well, I don't go by deja vu. Deja vu means that I've had that happen so many times. That's not funny. It's often because I have dreamed about something that happened, and then suddenly I'm seeing the dream occur. But we do talk about dreams, you know, uh, and parallel universe stories. Yeah, there's some good ones about that. Some of these articles are old about, and this has happened to me before. You know, I'll could swear that I did some accidentally wound up in some uh, different universe because I just seemed like things were just a little different. Nothing big, just something small. But I'm a believer that we we don't create alternate realities for ourselves with every single little decision we make. It's only the big ones. And the key here is to stop doing it accidentally. The key here is to go into meditation. I have a decision to make. Do I take path A? Do I take path B? And so what you do is you set up a what if while you're in meditation. Let's say I choose path A and I go out. Did path A work? No, it didn't. So I come back and I try path B. Let's see if that works better. Uh, Lisa talks about using remote viewers to go forward in time to where she is successful, and then go back to see what she did to cause that success. And that is something that's really that was interesting. I know a couple of really good uh, remote viewers. I do a version of that. I call it remote sensing. In other words, true remote viewers will have a target, and it'll be a set of numbers. And then it's basically those targets. Say this is an envelope. It's not. And this contains information, and they are sent to that target to look at what's in that envelope, and then they report back. And this remote viewing was an experiment started by the Stanford Research Institute in the late 1960s. They had a Department of Defense grant to study some stuff. This got part of it, and this eventually came out to be something called the Stargate Project, which the Army, Department of Defense, the Army, and the Central Intelligence Agency actually hired people to be trained as remote viewers so they could go look at stuff that's happening with the Russians or the USSR at that time. Um, and it's a real thing. It is a real, absolute thing. I know yep, that's right. Our government uses, I don't know if they still use it. It would be very classified if they still do. There's a lot of weird things you can do. There's also remote influencing, which I haven't tried it. I probably could do it, but I haven't tried it. Let's see. Coming up, we're 8 o'clock in Los Angeles, so it means it is now 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Are there any questions from the handful of people that are watching right now? Just go ahead, post your question down there. I will see it. Let's see. I'm going to see what our delay is. I'm going to hold up a finger. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1. I'm counting 6 ones. Just seeing what the delay is. Yeah, I've. It's there are several places where you can learn about remote viewing. There's a group on Facebook about remote viewing, and I I I'm going to be doing a training audio on remote sensing, and just to let everybody know, my tablet has decided to reboot. So let me see if I can get me back up so I can see your comments. Oh, yeah. If you're wondering, this is a rooted tablet. By that I mean I have I have I took control. This was an Amazon Fire tablet. I took total control of it and went in and got rid of a bunch of the silliness that Amazon put on there and turned it into a regular tablet. Okay, I'm back to where I can see any questions you cats may have or not. Uh, I had asked. Now those of you who really know me, you guys know that I can channel, and I was wondering if that one deity that I have made contact with would want to channel anything. If there's anything he wanted to say about parallel worlds, parallel lives. So let's see if I get anything. It'd be a good time. Told to be careful about that. Can wreak a lot of havoc on your life if you're not careful. It can be done. It can be easy. It can be trained. You can do it. You have to be careful of the karmic effects. Now, let me define karma. Karma is not what a lot of people think it is. Karma is the balance, the lessons you have to learn, the lessons that you have to teach other people, the lessons you have to learn if you have any lessons to be learned. It really has nothing to do with you being nasty to somebody in this life and somebody being nasty to you. That's just the law of balance. There is a huge, overwhelming law in the universe that everything has to be imbalanced. We have the shape of a atom, and the atoms are balanced, and therefore humans' energy has to be balanced. But when we do a quantum shift, it is just a matter of focused energy, and then figuring out which alternate reality you wish to bring to you. A lot of magical workings have you send the magic away from you. But to do a real quantum shift, to bring the new energy to you, you have to actually bring it into yourself and make it a part of your energy body. Okay. Mandy asks, do you get spontaneous remote viewing? Yeah. I call that clairvoyance. Remote viewing, let's define it. Remote viewing is where you have a target and you're going to go look at it. Anything else is remote sensing or clairvoyance. How reliable is remote viewing? Well, I've been following this thing called the Time Cross Project. It's on YouTube. Dick Algeier is one of the remote viewers. And at the beginning of May, they had a thing where they did targets. And Dick Algeier saw the attack in Manchester. And it's quite accurate. He actually drew several of the scenes that I saw. Okay. Again, a search states, okay, let's go back to what Miss Mandy is saying. Random backyard or living room or bedroom. It's not like a normal third eye meditation. No, Mandy, what's happening to you is what's called clairvoyance. That's where you spontaneously begin to see something that's not there. That could be trained to be remote viewing, but right now you're not really in control. That just happens. A remote viewer is somebody who is very rigidly trained, rigidly controlled, and you follow a very strong uh, way of doing it. I'm trying to think of the term. Rules that you have to follow. With clairvoyance, these things just happen. Happens to me a lot. And I call it remote sensing when I'll pick a target and I'll project myself there. I'll pick up some information and then I wake up and I start drawing it, or I'll write it down. So, and that's not an easy thing to teach. I am working up a an altered state lesson to let people know how to do that. Uh, yeah, again about how reliable. Well, the remote viewing that Stargate did via the Central Intelligence Agency was accurate enough that they used it as a point to where they would send in more assets to those areas, and those assets then verified the information that they were getting. Things like nuclear installations, research, ships, stuff like that. How to channel? Well, if I could, basically, it's a form of mediumship. And just then, when I did that quick channeling, I just simply just opened my vocal cords up to allow Thoth or Hermes or Mercury to get in there and just say the few sentences he said. Now I'm still connected to him, and I don't like to give up control very easily. I'm one of these. I'm kind of a control freak, and that's the most I'll let them do. Some people actually lose consciousness completely. Um, okay, let's see. I'm seeing what else is down there. There, and it is a little after 8 o'clock in Los Angeles. And see, to recap, we've been talking about parallel lives, parallel universes, and I've been kind of scattered. That's the way my thought processes have been all day. I've been very scattered. It's A, B, C, D, and then going back and forth. Been thinking for the past week very non-linear. Let's see what else. Shameless self-promotion. I do have my Psychic 101 audio set available. Anybody who wants to buy it, it's there. Let's see. I never see people or know what the place is. Don't know how useful. Videos cutting out. Yeah. Uh, I don't know if that's me causing that or what. I do know I'm getting some. Let's see. According to this, we're still cruising along about 1700 kilobits per second. That's probably one of the best ways I have of doing this and still getting all the cool graphics like my name right here and my email address right here. We are. How much? How much what? Everything I have, everything that I offer through my store is $47. And I may be bundling some stuff later and give a discount on that. But everything is that. Everything, no matter what audio it is, you pick and choose. The best thing is start with Psychic 101. After you do that, after you've learned to visualize and go into these altered states, then it's really good to go into the other ones. I have one where you go to meet your guides. I have one where you create a high self sanctuary. I also have one that helps defeat self-sabotaging thoughts. I don't know why I did that one. I have two versions, one for people who do magic and one that's for everybody. Also, too, if you check my post in the group Study Reality, you'll see there's a discount code. It's only good for one person's already used it, so we're down to 4 uses. So, the next 4 people who order anything off my website will get a 30% discount by using that code. That code is TAO30. Yeah, TAO30. Give you a 30% discount. It goes from 47 down to about 32, whatever. And it's instant download. As soon as PayPal processes it, you get access to it. If you go to Gumroad, the discount code is there as well, and it comes to you as a zip file. Let's see what else. Um, I have a medium. We learn to be a medium and hear spirit voices. I have that one planned, but I'm doing a past life regression. I'm editing it right now. This will probably, I would suggest you do the high self, the guides, and the 101 before you do the past life regression. Past life regression really relies upon a very level theta state and knowing how to visualize, and then retaining that information long enough to wake up and make some notes. It is the same type of past life regression that Dick Sutphin put me through back in 1997. And we hit 3 lives, past lives. One that I'd already known about, and I verified it. In 1944, I was at the controls of a Lancaster bomber, and I was shot down. Well, no, we were hit, and I kept the craft in the air long enough for just about everybody else to jump out. We made sure everybody bailed out over the channel so they were not picked up by the Nazis, and then I rode the airplane on in. Let's see. Then prior to that, I was a kid in Missouri. I actually started out in Philadelphia, and I wanted to get married. I was like 16, so I ran away, got married to the girl, and we moved to the Missouri territories. This was in the mid 1800s, and then prior to that, there was a life that was based upon a dream I had, and the dream is that I was. Ooh, hi, Lena. Yeah, the picture's clear because I have a Logitech HD 1080p webcam, and I'm broadcasting in 720 HD. All right, so that other one, it was based upon a dream I had. I told Dick Sutphin about the dream, and he said, "Well, let's take you back." And dream starts out. I'm a farmer. I am in an area north of Virginia territory, or the state of, well, back then it was a colony, and I had previously been in the British Army under Washington. I was one of his, he was lieutenant, then a colonel, I think, and I served with him. And then the rebellion started, and he came through the area trying to find me. And I was with him in several battles, I think, until I took a bullet. So then there was a past life I did in the 1600s, and then there's some that were in the 1400s. And I was always just some nobody. I was never, I don't think, a king or a famous person. Okay, but and I am still editing this. The audio for the past life regression is very, very. I take you down so deep, and I keep taking you down deeper and deeper and deeper. And instead of using a tunnel or a cave or an elevator, I have you going through a forest and coming across the portal that takes you to past life. Your higher self in this particular one, you will, before you go into the exercises, you say, okay, I want to explore my most previous past life, or I want to explore a past life that's impacting me now. Like right now, this life, I still have some health issues from from the injuries I took while flying that airplane. Uh, my daughter, when she was 2, we were was with my dad and my stepmom, and we're traveling through the hill country in central Texas. This was in April, going to look at the bluebonnets. So, I got a toddler kid, and she starts telling me about the time she died. She went into the light, and she stopped and waved goodbye to me. And this is a quote, because it was such a wild one. She goes, "And Daddy, we later said I was going to come back as your little girl this time." And it's like, here I am. Oh, oh, okay. Okay, well, Sally, well, that's a little bit different. When if you think you had an NDE when you're 5 or 6, I would suggest a one-on-one with somebody who's a good hypnotist that can take you back. You can try to get with Richard Sutphin, seeing if he's still doing it, or if there's somebody close to you. That may be something you're going to have to do in person with a hypnotist. Um, I'd say we could give it a shot over Zoom or something, but I can't guarantee results. All right. Now, let's get back to parallel universes, because we talked about parallel lives. Parallel lives is, again, every past life I've ever had and every future life I might gonna have, all occurring now to my oversoul. Uh, about 15 years ago, my dad was having surgery, and he almost had an NDE, a near-death experience, during that surgery, where he saw himself in front of a large collective, a kind of a cloud, and they said, "You are no longer you, you are us. We are all you." Hmm. Well, Beth, Mandy, Bree, my website is davesesoterica.site. Look for my posts in Study of Reality, or maybe have Michelle put you into my Psychic Academy group. Beth, that is the truth. Here's the way it works, folks, okay? The younger the soul you are, the better the chance of you being somebody who's very powerful politically. For example, people like George W. Bush, Donald Trump, are what we call toddler or baby souls, because that's one of the first few incarnations they're having. The more incarnations you have on this planet, the less of an important person you become, because you have other lessons you have to learn. Yeah, Beth, Michelle, yeah, you can put the link there. I have so damn many websites anyway. Uh, but yeah, there's another site where people have been channeling an entity they call Michael, which is actually a compilation of several energy sources, and under the term Michael, sort of like what Abraham Hicks does. Because that's not just one person named Abraham, that's a collective conscious of people called Abraham. And let's see. I started having this thing back in about 2000. I was told I was definitely on the wrong path. And I was told that this was supposed to be my final life on this planet. That I'm going to be going on to other duties after this. Um, and that there's some things I'm supposed to do. The energy's behind me to do it. And at that time, 2000, 17 years ago, I was so far off path, it wasn't crazy. And so we've been doing some quantum shifting there. And they these cats, they have this thing where it's like, okay, guys, you have to be in a certain position, you have to be doing a certain thing, and it's something that's so damned important. They're doing a lot of stuff. Collective consciousness. Actually, Michelle, that's an okay page, but that is a private group I just use for testing. It's the mediumship and Psychic Academy would be a good one. But collective consciousness, well, that's a concept that we are not all individual souls, and uh, dis as we disincarnate, as we leave this body, we go up, and it's one collective consciousness, and it's like all fingers coming down, kind of like raindrops. Okay, think of it as a cloud with raindrops. The collective consciousness is the cloud. Each individual person is the raindrops. Does that make sense? God, I hope so. Nah, Dave's Esoterica isn't really a good of a site for that. Okay, TAO of Dave is also a private group, but I don't know if you guys are asking about an external website, which would be like paranormalhour.com, or if you're talking about the pages or whatever. Okay, so Janie, I hope I was kind of clear on that. To me, term collective consciousness is something I know exists, and I've just accepted as is, as a fact, and I just go on. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, well, all right. Any other questions? Rather, questions I can answer. I'm going to throw it open to you guys. Mediumship and Psychic Academy. Yes, Michelle, that's the one. That's the one. Okay, so let's see. The last video. If you go hit the well, if you want to buy stuff, well, first go to one of my links that I post. It's Dave's Esoterica.site. But I have no way to put that up there. Ooh, maybe I could. I don't know. Let's see. Anyway, questions. Come on. Let's do some questions here. And while I'm waiting, let's see. Yeah, guys, if you ever want to do live stuff on Facebook or whatever, I suggest that thing called Extreme. There is the free version. I was on it last week, tested it out, and I went ahead and paid for it. It's $5 a month, and you get a lot of cool stuff. And then I paid something like $50 for this Logitech webcam. I have a bunch of lights, and then I have a microphone. Here, let me see. Let me show it to you. There it is. See? Yep, that's the microphone. That's what that one came in a couple of weeks ago. And it's all hooked up. That's all because I have a college degree in radio, television, film production. Going back in time to 1981, that one professor of mine wanted me to become an astronomy student, and the only reason why I didn't is because I don't like math. Yeah, in the mediumship group, there's links to everything, and once you hit my store, everything's going to be there, and also that discount code TAO30 is good for anything that's offering right now, but there is a limit, and so. And I think all the discount codes expire at the end of this month anyway. Yeah. You enter. Michelle is an administrator there. Just she is with the study reality. I just hang out. I just do the content. I try to cause not too much trouble. Okay, what else, guys? I'm sure there's some questions. Let me see here if there's anything that Thoth wants to say. No, not really. He's cool. All right. How about more about quantum jumping, quantum splitting around? Okay, he's telling you to be wary that if you do go to Google, there are a lot of people who sell courses in how to quantum jump. Yeah, none of them are there really that are any good. They just kind of, it's the same thing with law of attraction. They kind of gloss over it a little bit. They don't tell you everything you need to know right up front. It's a lot of, he's showing me a very high bullshit factor. Actually, quite a big bullshit factor. That's the problem with law of attraction, and that's the same thing. That's why Lisa started this group is because there's sort of no bullshit. Um, there are certain things you have to learn to visualize and go into meditative states, and I'm teaching that, and that's how I work. If you want to learn that, there's also at davesesoterica.site, uh, I have the options under services. You can engage with me for a 30-minute or an hour long session where it's one on one using Skype or Zoom, and where I can take you into a custom done hypnotic trance. And this handful of people I've worked with, that way it works. But the thing is, though, with the little audios you can buy, you can roll those at any time, and it saves me from having to remember to be here at a certain time. Mandela effect. Yeah, that, I'm not sure about that. Really, uh, I'm more concerned with some other things that are happening, such as the cognitive dissonance, which is occurring to at least 40% of our population. And that is they're so used to fake news that when they do see real news, they think it's fake news and they continue to believe the fake news. Let's see what else. Uh, again, big shout out to all intelligent life forms listening in right now. Um, and to all the rest of you, the secret is to bang the rocks together. Extra points to anybody who knows what the hell I'm talking about there. Okay. Yeah. Uh, well, like I said earlier, there's a part of me that grew up being a skeptical, scientifically minded person. Uh, my favorite character on television when I was a kid growing up was Spock. Science, technology, not believing it, even if you see it yourself. And so the universe decided to show me some stuff that put me in kind of a split brain issue. I have a video on channeling where I talk about that. I have a video on UFOs where I talk about that. And it's all wraps together under the study of reality because we don't know what's real. What isn't real? There's two types of realities. There's subjective and objective. And the key to magic is to push your subjective reality on the objective reality. And the more I'm reading about quantum jumping between parallel worlds, the more I see that may be useful to me. I'm going to do some experiments with that. I'm going to see what it is I can do. And Michelle, you had asked this earlier, and yes, I do have a script that addresses the issue that we were talking about privately. I'm thinking that would be about a 15-20 minute long. And I'm thinking next time I schedule quiet time to record, I'll just record that script as well. I'll just shoot it on over to you. I may make it public. The beauty of self-hypnosis is you can do a lot of stuff with that. When you're in the alpha theta transition stage, you are susceptible to suggestions. And if you, for example, I did an audio from Dick Sutphin one of the first ones, mid 90s, in which he had me do a visual, a mini movie, he called it, in which I saw myself being successful. And in that mini movie, I saw a car, I saw a house, I saw a number, my bank account. And in the December 97, things started kicking up. And in 1998, I had the car, I had the house, and that number was in my bank account. That actually works. So I say, wow, this is really something cool. So I sent him an early, that was early days of the web, so I sent him an email, got on his mailing list, and in 2000, I traveled to Sedona. I was taking some pictures of the Southwest, beautiful stuff, back in the days of film, and I took a seminar with him in which he took us under for remote viewing exercises. And then the next year, I took his hypnosis course. It was 3 days. And so somewhere I've got a certificate that says I can put you under, and I'm not going to do something silly like make you become a serial killer unless you already have the tendencies to be a serial killer. Um, so, I use it for good and not for bad. Although if I'm a superhero, I'd be more like Deadpool than anybody else. All right, it is now 8:30. We've been on the air now a little over an hour. Uh, any last questions? What? Yeah. Uh, so seriously, you cannot. Nothing can happen to you while you're under hypnosis that you wouldn't normally do. Um, it's. In fact, you're more at risk for ill behavior with a couple of shots of tequila in you than you are when you're under self hypnosis. Let's see. So, anything else? I'll give it. I'll give us another minute. Then I'll go ahead and go into the exit menu. Uh, this seems to be pretty good. This time of night's good for me. The light is even. Uh, Coming in earlier in the day is just it's too noisy. Uh, Got too many things happening. And later in the evening's good. I like to think of this as sort of an Art Bell coast to coast AM sort of thing. And then one last thing. If you or anybody you know has anything to do with remote viewing, chasing ghosts, mediumship, channeling, or if you know anybody who's a psychic who would like to come on and we could do a one-to-one interview, I'm open to that. I check this email address right here. It's it's checked about once a day. Uh, and so if you send me an email there, I can get it. Send me a private message through Facebook, I will get it. And there is, let's see, 2 weeks ago we had John Griffith on talking about paranormal, being a ghost hunter. Uh, he had a hell of a childhood, and I'm thinking seriously about talking to him about maybe turning that into a motion picture along the lines of The Conjuring. Uh, and The only thing I wonder about that is that he was on a TV show. Did the TV show have the rights to that or not? So we'll have to figure that out. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I will say good night for now. I will be back on next Friday, approximately 7:30 to 8 o'clock. I'm not sure that will be what? That'll be June the 2nd. So, um, uh, let's see if there's anything else coming across the thing here. Uh, what else? Well, that's it. I'm sure Lisa is going to be live sometime soon. Don't know if Beth is going to be live anytime soon, but I'm always live. Um, Having been through the curriculum for radio and television, I understand how important it is to have a regular time slot. I always like to start either at the top of the hour or at the bottom of the hour. At least I don't have a lot of commercials. And and if there's any ideas, if you guys have any ideas for future shows, topics you'd like to see covered, also contact me about that, and I will entertain those. Okay. So that's it. Thank you, Michelle, for being a good MC, a good den mother. And I'm just going to sign out for now. Bye, y'all. I thought I hit the right button. Come on. Shift over. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Seems to be locked up. Come on. Come on. Come on. We got a little, little problem here. The software is not